Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another outstanding episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye Spinach. He's the tranquil dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And in the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass.
Man, he done paused on it. It happens.
That's what
it happens. It happens.
Botch.
I know. What are you gonna do with modern technology, man? 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, man. He was getting into it too, man.
He was.
I know. So how are you doing today, man? Hey, you doing pretty well?
Yeah. I actually just woke up from a nap, so pretty tired.
Oh man, that's awesome. I took one a little earlier, man. I got about 5.
Yeah. I always feel like a lot worse after taking naps during the day for some reason. And yet I keep doing it.
No. So usually I take them, man. They recharge my batteries, man. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna do this.
Must be nice.
Yeah, especially, man, if it's cold out, man. I got dogs, man. I'll get under the blanket and they pile in with me, and I'm good to go. They're like, all right,
yeah,
roll.
Yeah. Maybe it's not really cold right now. It's kind of hot, but that could be why.
Yeah, actually today it's like autumn, and then tomorrow's gonna be like spring or whatever. It's like 65 today, and tomorrow's gonna be like 75. It's like, geez. And then it's going back down to like Delaware.
Oh, okay.
And then it's gonna go back down to like 50, 40, 30s and stuff. It's like, all right.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the next 2 days.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. For all our viewers, sorry about that. Technical difficulties, it happens. But where was I? Where did I leave off?
That ocean crossing. Straight up Boston.
Yes. In the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go. Catch him if you can. Said his name in Guyana. Now they love him in Japan. No cap, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a man who enjoys the death match. He prides himself on making sure that almost every match ends up in blood. Whether it's your blood or his blood, there will be blood. And he has faced many opponents such as ACH, former WWE Tag Team Champion Charlie Haas, Gino Medina, and Brian Keith. And this Saturday, November 20th, he faces the Prince of Texas, Lil Evil, Prince Adam, for his Lucha Brutal Come and Take It Championship. Everybody, welcome to the show, the Throwback, Aaron Mercer.
Woo! What's up? Can
Nothing
I add
much.
a few things to that?
Sure, go ahead.
So you mentioned death matches, but you didn't mention any death match people that I've wrestled. My first one was against Ruben Steele, who's the deathmatch guy in Texas. The second one was against Atticus, who is one of the hottest deathmatch wrestlers in the world. The third one was against John Wayne Murdoch, who is the best deathmatch wrestler in the world. So just like to throw that out there.
My apologies for that.
It's all good.
But we really and truly do appreciate you, taking time out of your busy schedule to be on our show. We know you're busy, gearing yourself up, planning yourself for this upcoming battle that just may result in you becoming the new Lucha Brutal Come and Take It champion. I just gotta ask, man, what's going through your mind right now?
So technically, this is only my second match with Lucha Brutal. The first one was a fatal 4-way elimination match in 2019 to become #1 contender for one of them. I'm not sure if it was this title or a different one, but so this is only my second match with them. So to be getting a title match already is pretty cool. And the fact that it's kind of in my wheelhouse of hardcore deathmatch style kind of gives me an advantage. So I don't know. Could be a very short reign for Adam.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting match, and I'm hoping I can actually get to see it because there's a lot of interesting competitors on that card. Lucha Brutal is definitely doing it big. I'm actually jealous of the people in the DFW area because they're getting to see this great card, and I'm all the way over here in New York, which in the wrestling scene over here is not bad. It's pretty good, pretty great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just something about Texas wrestling that just gets to you. Like I remember when I went to ACW 6 years ago, I had the opportunity. I don't know if you ever fought this guy, but if you haven't yet, I would definitely pay good money to see it. I'm talking about Masada. I saw him actually take the sticks, or I think it was I don't know what he calls those things, but I saw him. I beg your pardon? The skewers.
Skewers. Yeah.
I saw him take the skewers to somebody live and in person, and man, it wasn't pretty. But at the same time, I felt a tinge of excitement as well too. So it's definitely something about Texas wrestling that just gets you.
That's probably the deathmatch guy that I need to have at least one with before I'm done with deathmatch wrestling. And I feel like I got a little taste. Atticus does the skewers as well. His are spray painted green, but he skewered me like 5 or 6 different times in our match, and they suck. And I know Masada is just as, if not more, vicious with them. So I don't know. I'm weird, so I have to experience that at least once.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a match to see, and hopefully I'm there at the time. Present. I'd rather be there in person when that match happens. Because I know that'll definitely be one, for the classics. But
Right.
let's take a time traveling trip back in the past, and I gotta ask you, man, what was the match or the pay-per-view? Who was that one relative that dragged you into the room and said, "Hey, Aaron, check this out. You might like this"?
So I've answered this question a few times, and I can't actually pinpoint when I started watching wrestling or when I became a fan. I've asked my mom before, and she said that I've watched it ever since I was little. But like the most prominent memories are kind of like that 9, 10, 11 years old area that pretty much everybody mentions. I don't know. There was something about the Randy Orton cage match with Kane when he was feuding with Evolution and he like escaped and he got away from them all. That's like a very prominent memory for me for some reason. But I also remember going over to a friend's house and seeing Scott Steiner versus Triple H at Royal Rumble 03, which was a terrible match, but it sticks out for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really pinpoint exactly when I started.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I was lucky enough to pinpoint like the one match that got me into, which was SummerSlam '89, Brutus Beefcake and Hulk Hogan versus Macho King and Zeus. That was definitely the match that had me hooked and so excited that I couldn't wait to see the next match and so on. At first, I used to think I started watching in 1989, but then I was like, wait a minute, that was a VHS. So I wasn't too sure. So I'm like, let me just say 1990 because I know it was definitely before WrestleMania 6, Hogan versus Warrior, that I started watching it. So I just say that's that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
and that's
Go
another
ahead.
thing with so much wrestling on demand. You can watch all that, and then you think you have a memory of that, and it kind of like all warps together. So I've watched and forgotten so much wrestling. It's hard to like pick out when your first memory was. That's just me though.
Yeah, true. So with now that's so who were some of your favorite wrestlers that you enjoyed watching growing up that inspired you to do this?
I'd say probably Eddie is number one growing up. Uh, Benoit for the wrestling reasons. Um, Outside of that, I really got into Punk whenever he first debuted in ECW, and then like I went back and started watching all his ROH stuff, and I started watching a bunch of Brian and then Nigel, uh, and now like kind of current day. Whenever I first started, I was watching like Billy Robinson, and now I watch like a lot of Suzuki, and so it's just all that like Ring of Honor slash Japan hard hitting style that I'm super into now. But like growing up, definitely like I would say like Eddie, he was extremely good technically, but he was one of the most charismatic dudes ever. So definitely him. Angle too, Kurt Angle,
of course.
Yeah, those are some great men. Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle. I really think that Kurt Angle should open a wrestling school, given the fact that he has that Olympic amateur wrestling background. But then again, it looks great on paper, but at the same time, you have to wonder, it's one thing to be an athlete, but it's another thing to be a coach. Can you find the strengths and weaknesses in people, capitalize on those strengths and also build up those weaknesses? That would definitely be a good question. But if he did, and if he's able to do that, that would definitely be a great thing. You mentioned Suzuki. Oh man, Suzuki has got to be like one. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
No. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Suzuki. Rob, what does he call him? The angry Japanese grandpa or something
grandpa.
like that? Murder grandpa. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't say Japanese, but I thought that's what he's. Yeah, murder grandpa. Like Suzuki has got to be one of the meanest people in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like win or lose, the guy just takes his frustrations out on those young boys, and it's like if I could meet him in person, preferably like 10 feet away behind a fence, I'd like to ask him, like, what's your problem, bro? Like, did somebody tell you something they didn't like or what, man? Like, that guy just puts a whooping on everybody. It's, oh, geez.
I think it's a respect thing.
It's a respect thing.
Oh, so he beats the respect into them.
Yeah, like the young lions have to come up through that system, so they have to experience it. I would love to get whooped by Suzuki. Why not?
Ooh, man. Yeah, that guy is he's definitely. But the thing I like about his matches, he definitely makes you work for those wins. So definitely a legend in his own right. Yeah. So you were gonna say something about Kurt Angle or the coaching or anything, or?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say.
I
I'm pretty sure he could be a coach fairly easily because he caught on to professional wrestling like that. Another guy like Shawn Michaels, one of the greatest of all time, he's killing it down at NXT. Like you hear people talking all the time. Like Adam Cole preaches like he has nothing but good things to say about Shawn and like how good of a coach he is. So I mean, I'm sure Kurt Angle could easily be a good coach.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels is another guy. I've always had this theory that there is no such thing as a bad Shawn Michaels match. And he's just a great all-around guy, like promo-wise. If anybody were to come and say, "Hey, Remy, me and my friend are getting into wrestling as a tag team," who would you recommend? I would definitely recommend the Rockers. Look at anything that the Rockers have done. The Rockers would be one of those teams. I'd also include others like Arn and Tully and so on, but the Rockers would definitely be one of them because they brought something fresh that wasn't really seen before in tag teams. So yeah, that and I could only imagine, oh man, if Marty and Sean were still good friends and they opened a school together, woo, man, that would be something.
It'd be pretty cool for sure. I was gonna say, you did the Saudi match with DX and Brothers of Destruction, right?
Oh yeah, that one. That one was well. Look at it this way: Shawn Michaels hadn't wrestled in like what 7 years. To 2011 he retired, or 20. Actually, no, it was 2010 he retired. So it was 8 years. I mean, he wasn't that. To me, he wasn't like that. Like, in my opinion, he wasn't really that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some
just those couple mess ups, but I mean,
it was just those couple mess ups, but I mean, it happened.
Yeah, and then Triple H was semi-retired, so yeah. So I just have like 3 more questions. So my next question, so now that you're a fan of the sport, you're cheering your favorites, you're booing the bad guys, you're going to the shows and whatnot. How did your journey go from wrestling fan to the throwback Aaron Mercer?
So I was a basketball player, and I was playing in the ABA, which is like a semi-professional league. And our PA announcer, somehow we got to talking about wrestling, and this is when AJ Styles debuted in the Rumble, and we got to talking about it. And he mentioned, he was like, "Oh yeah, I run my own school," and I was like, "Oh wow, that's pretty cool." Like, I've always wondered, how to do that, but I've never known like anybody like to get my foot in the door. And so after that season, me and my ex had our son, and I was done with basketball. So I hit him up and I was like, how can I get started? And he was like, just meet me at this place on this date or whatever. And we got started, and then since then it's history. I mean, went from basketball to pro wrestling.
Wow, that's awesome. I know basketball is definitely is a physical sport. Lots of cardio, lots of pretty much lots of training involved with it too. So how did basketball outside of cardio, what other areas did your basketball experience? Were there any other areas in your pro wrestling training that your basketball experience helped you with?
Absolutely.
Footwork.
You have to have really good footwork in basketball, especially as a guard. I was a guard, so had to have good footwork. And if you seriously sit there and watch like really good professional wrestling, you'll notice their footwork is amazing. I would say that's the number one thing. And then just being somewhat of an athlete. I was never like the best athlete, but like I could play all the sports and be good at them. So I think that kind of gave me like a natural advantage, I guess, coming in, like learning moves and stuff like that was fairly easy. It was like the other stuff that was kind of harder, learning timing and psychology and stuff like that. But I definitely think like footwork and just being like an athlete is a huge advantage, because you can kind of tell when some people come in and they're super uncoordinated. They've never really played a sport or anything. And then sometimes they turn into some of the best professional wrestlers out there just because they're a natural. But it just worked out for me, I guess.
Awesome. So yeah, definitely for those of y'all that actually play basketball, if you're getting into wrestling, that footwork's definitely gonna work out for y'all. So you heard it here. So my second to last question is, so in regards to, so you actually got a chance. I mentioned several opponents before, ACH and Gino Medina and Brian Keith. And then I also mentioned Charlie Haas, who in my opinion is one of the most underrated technical wrestlers in professional wrestling. Like I saw what he did to one of my favorite wrestlers, Paul London, and it was like watching a younger version of Arn Anderson decimate his opponent. What was it like going into a match with Charlie? Were you nervous, or were you like, you know something? I've had some pretty good training. I got this, or was it a combination of both?
So I don't know how far into this I want to go. We were doing a tryout for a company that kind of travels around, and I didn't know that we were doing a tryout. We were kind of just told that, hey, me and this other dude, Great Scott, are going to be wrestling on the show. Cool. Love Great Scott. We get there and we have to go and do all these drills, and it's like a full-on tryout. Me and Scott have to do like a practice match. I didn't even bring gear. I didn't bring training clothes. I brought my gear for the show. So I was sitting there doing everything in my gear. So we were there for hours and hours and hours, and it was like maybe 2 hours before the show started, before the tapings. And we're just sitting there. Nobody's told us anything. Finally, somebody comes up to me and they're like, you're wrestling Charlie Haas. I'm like, okay, cool. So I immediately got my stuff. I went and found Charlie, and I was like, hey, I guess we're wrestling tonight. And he was super cool about it. We actually just like sat there and talked for like 30 minutes or something like that. Like not even about the show or anything, just like we talked. And I wasn't nervous. I mean, I'm always nervous before a match just because it's like I care, but I wasn't nervous to wrestle him. Like I wasn't like not confident in my abilities or anything. I knew he's one of the best in the world. He's going to take care of me. We had a few minutes to do our match or whatever. I would have loved to have a more traditional match, but it worked out to where it was kind of a squash. That's fine. But I would love to have, 15 to 20 minutes with him and we just wrestle, because that would be great, because he's one of the best.
Cool. So my last question before I turn it over to Rob: when you're at the gym working out, or when you're getting ready for your next match, what are some songs that you like to that you like to listen to that put you in the zone to go out there and kick some butt and take some names, or to get those reps done, or to knock that cardio out?
I knew you were going to ask that. It kind of just depends on the mood that I'm in. I never really had an emo phase, so I just discovered my emo phase like 8 months ago. So I've been listening to a lot of Sleeping with Sirens and like Pierce the Veil and Memphis Mayfire, just like a lot of emo music. And so that is pretty much what I listen to 24/7 right now. Anything you can think of in that genre, I've probably listened to it in the gym.
All right. Interesting. But my playlist is all over the place. As I always tell people, like I have different genres. Like 1 minute I'll be listening to Hollywood Undead, another minute I'm listening to Donna Summer, and then I might have some Real American by Hulk Hogan playing, or some other wrestling theme. So I have different.
I listen from everything from Carrie Underwood to Sleeping with Sirens to Joyner Lucas to Johnny Cash. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, hey, whatever knocks those reps out, or whatever puts you in that zone, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. 'Cause I know Rob has a couple of questions for you. Spoiler alert, or just a heads up: if you're a fan of Marvel or DC or Star Wars, he's gonna have a long conversation with you about that. So just give me a heads up. Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on, man? How you doing today?
What's up? I'm awesome. How are you?
That's good. That's good, man. You still feel good from that nap, man? That nap.
I'm a little more awake now. We're good.
All right, that's good. That's good. So, man, I was Remy was talking about music and stuff, man. I seen that you do a lot of metal stuff, and I was going to ask you what your favorite metal bands were.
Oof.
When I say metal, you know, what I mean, I think Metallica, Slayer, you know, what I mean, King Diamond. Some people be like, no, I'm talking about metal, you know. I'm like, oh, okay, no, I don't know about that.
I was gonna say define metal because like I don't know. I actually don't listen to too much metal. I mean, I know a few Metallica songs, but I don't. I can't really say that might be like the one genre I'm not super familiar with.
Yeah, that's all good, man. Yeah, because like y'all were saying earlier, like a second ago. Yeah, I'm the same way. I listen to a lot of crazy stuff, man. Right now I'm listening to a lot of Southern rock, Leonard Skinner, you know, blues stuff, George Thorogood,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
stuff like that. Oh yeah, I love that. Plus George Thorogood's from my area, so I gotta represent him.
That's kind of the stuff that I grew up on too, because my dad is from that era, so all the classic 70s, 80s, all that. He's super into Rush, as every dad is. So a lot of that I am fully aware of just because of him.
That's right. The other day I was riding with my dad, and we were listening to the radio, and he was like, "Oh, hold on a second, Cisco Kid's on." He had to turn on. He was like, "Cisco Kid was a friend of mine." You know, he had to jam.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. He was like my pop. He's like that too, man. I listen to he listened to all kinds of crazy stuff. One day it'd be we listened to Temptations. Next day it'd be like Frank Zappa, and then it's like Sam Cooke, and then Jimi Hendrix. You know, you ain't know what you were gonna get with Pop.
Yeah.
Depending on his mood, man. So I do gotta ask, man. What are you watching any new movies and TV shows right now? Because I'm always stuck on the same stuff, man. What do you call comfort shows? I'm always trying to look for something new.
So recently I rewatched all of Stranger Things, and then I realized the fourth season isn't coming out until like next year, so that was pretty dumb. I finished watching You. I'm trying to watch Dune, but I keep getting into it and then like getting distracted and doing something else. I just started Red Notice. I've seen about half of it. Outside of that, I usually just have like The Office or South Park playing in the background, and I somewhat pay attention, but not really. I don't know.
Oh,
That's about
South
it
Park.
recently.
South Park. Oh, that is so great. Yeah, I could just talk about that all day, man. There's this one, the Christmas episode I watch every year. It's the one with the blood orgy or whatever, the little Christmas
Yeah.
critters. That one. I remember when that came on TV.
I have it
I
on
remember
right
telling
now.
my friends the next day, like, "Yeah, this South Park episode, they literally were doing all. They were like, they did not play that on TV, man. You're making this up." I'm like, no, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, no, you got to watch this. And then like, I think it came on a little bit later, and they're like, "Oh my God."
The one that's on right now is when Cartman has his little social media in his head and he's talking to Alec Baldwin. That's the one that's on right now.
Great. Yeah, I actually got those South Park games for Xbox and stuff. What was it the Fractured But Whole, and I can't remember the other one. Those games are
the Stick of Truth, I think.
Yeah, the Stick of Truth. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, they're so great. There's this one scene on there where your mom and dad are doing whatever, and you're microscopic, and you gotta get through them. Oh man, you have to look it up on YouTube if they show it. South Park. Oh, they're just the kings. Yeah, I
They're
literally
something.
just the newest thing I watched. I tried to get into Sopranos. It was like the fifth time trying to get into it, and I finally pushed through it, and it was okay. I'm not a big gangster person, like the movies, but it was all right.
There's a guy in one of the group chats that I'm in. He always replies to our messages with like Sopranos screen caps, and it just has like a description or whatever of what we're talking about. That's all he does.
It's like bada bing or something like that.
Something
I
like
remember
that.
my mom and dad got me a shirt from The Sopranos way back in there. Like, yeah, it's real popular. So I just thought that was something they said, and I'm watching. I'm like, oh, it's the club they own and all that. Oh, okay, yeah, I had no clue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get into it though, because there was one character I was like, I gotta see how he gets done in. It was the guy. He was the bad guy in the Matrix. He was the one that turned on Neo and all that. I
Mhm.
can't remember his name, but yeah, he was in there, and I was like, oh, this guy's a piece of garbage. Yeah, I gotta see how he gets done in. So yeah, that got me hooked for a little bit. But other than that, I was like, you know.
Yeah.
So back to wrestling, man. I was checking out some of your matches. I got to ask, man, did you used to wrestle or do judo or any kind of jiu-jitsu or something when you were younger? Because the way you move in there, man, like like I know you say you did basketball, but the way like I seen you held on to a wrist lock, dude tried to throw you out, arm drag, oh you right on it, you just kept right on. You're like, I ain't letting go, I ain't letting go, like man,
No,
where
I think you're
where did that
talking
come
about the
from?
ACH one.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, yes.
Um,
Did you have any background in that before you got into wrestling and basketball? No. Oh man.
I did Muay Thai for a little bit
Mm.
with this dude named Pete Spratt, who was in the UFC for a brief period. Um, Outside of that, I didn't do any like jujitsu or anything like that. I was actually talking to this dude Matt Mikowski, who is a former MMA fighter, who I wrestled a couple months ago, and he asked the same thing, and I was like, no, outside of Muay Thai, I mean, but I mean that's all striking. That's not fluid
Yeah.
tosses and all that stuff. And I was like, why did I have you fooled? And he was like, yeah, I thought you legit had training. Like, nope, sorry, I'm a fraud.
Oh no, that's cool, man. That means you doing the thing in the ring, man. You out there dispensing justice, man. You go in there and you're just tearing it up. So,
I'm trying.
what brought you into starting to do hardcore stuff, man? Because I was like, man, yeah, and I saw some of your matches. You're doing regular, and then all of a sudden, you're wearing barbed wire on your head. You're doing all kinds of stuff. You're doing what was it, the Tower of London on the light tubes and stuff. I'm like, wow, okay. How did that come about, man? What happened?
Um, Man, so I started as a tag team wrestler, and I was very old school, kind of throwback.
Mm.
Didn't do any high flying. I still don't really do high flying. Didn't do anything fancy. Everything was based around, grounded uh, submissions, European uppercuts, stuff like that. And then I started branching off and incorporating more MMA stuff, using more strikes, stuff like that. And then after I came back, because I was injured for 13 months, after I came back, I kind of just tried to ease myself into it. And then I would say probably by the second match back, I was like, hey, let's do some stupid stuff. So I started uh, getting, UFO'd onto a guardrail that was on concrete floor, and I had people double stomping me on the apron and just more and more stuff. And then I was having a conversation with the promoter of heavy metal, and he was saying that ICW wanted to use me, but they needed some footage, and I really didn't have any hardcore footage because they're a deathmatch company. Um, so I was like, well, why don't we do a deathmatch? And I was like, let's do it with Ruben because he was there when I first started training. He's the deathmatch guy in Texas. Uh, who better to do it with than him? And they were like, okay, but we can't use glass because the cleanup is going to be kind of hard on the canvas. And I was like, so let's just go bare boards. So we did a bare board death match just so we can use glass. And I don't know. Ever since I came back, I've had kind of a death wish. I enjoy putting my body on the line. I enjoy feeling it. There's something about having something taken away from you uh, that just like, I don't know, changes you. So it's like I go into every single match trying to put everything I can into it, and I just want to feel it afterwards. And what better way to feel than to have glass and barbed wire in your skin, you know? Sounds pretty crazy, but
That's right.
I don't know. That's my answer.
That's right. Yeah, man. See, I trained to be a ref and stuff, and I ref the last show and stuff, and refing again on the fourth. And I remember telling my trainer, like, I don't know, I remember he was asking, "Can you do death matches?" I was like, there ain't no way. I'll be sitting there, like Nick Gage or whatever. Watched when John Mossy was like, "Yeah, he took the pizza cutter in my mouth," and like that. If I'm sitting there like, "Timeout, guys," you ref can't be doing that, man. Like, I was like, "Nah, no, just take me out of it." And then my trainer, he's all like, "I want to get thumbtacks in my match and stuff, man. I want to feel. I just want to get that." I was like, "I ain't refing your match, man. Like, I ain't, I got, ow."
But to me, thumbtacks are one of the easiest weapons to use. Like
Oh, they are.
I use those. Yeah, like I use those in a match. I would say it was probably like my 10th match back, and we busted those out, and I didn't feel a thing. I don't know if it's because of the adrenaline or because I'm a psycho or what, but anytime I can use tax, I can. I actually used them against Oren, who is another deathmatch guy, because we couldn't use glass. So I was like, I'm just gonna go buy like 3,000 tax, and we ended up using those instead, and it was fun.
Oh man, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, did you when you put the peroxide and stuff, did it sting a little bit, on your back? You're like, woo.
I haven't used peroxide.
Oh,
I
you didn't
just
do that.
shower.
Oh, you just showered, just soaking water. You're like, let's roll.
The showers suck.
Oh,
That's
I
probably the
believe it.
worst part.
Oof, yeah,
Yeah.
I believe it, man. I'm feeling it on my back right now. So, man, were you like did you get to watch any ECW back in the day? Because I'm watching, a couple of your hardcore matches. I've seen a couple pile drivers, you do from the apron right onto the tables and stuff. I was like, ooh, that's throwbacks right there, just like the name.
Yeah, there's like some older ECW stuff that I've seen before. A lot of the like regular, if you want to call them regular, hardcore matches, I like to take stuff from Kevin Steen, not necessarily Kevin Owens, but like Kevin Steen from ROH stuff. There there might be some ECW stuff that like I've taken from subconsciously, but I haven't really seen anything that I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to use that. The pile driver off the apron thing was just like we got a new commentary table that week, and we are like, what better way to use it than to destroy it right away? So I was just like, hey, I'm just gonna pile drive this dude off the apron.
That's right. Hey, we gotta break this table in or whatever. Let's break
Yeah,
this new commentary
absolutely.
table in. Let's go.
Luckily, it wasn't a Japanese table. It did break.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen some of those. Oh, yeah, those are pretty hard, man.
Yeah.
So are you booked for the rest of the year, man? I know you got your next show is this coming Saturday for Lucha Brutal and stuff and all, but are you booked up rest of the year? Do you have any openings left?
I mean, I might have an opening here or there, but that's because I have kind of left it that way. But I am booked. I have a booking in like February.
Hmm.
But coming up, I have the one against Adam. I have Brian Keith for the title at New Texas the following weekend. I have Barrett Brown the following weekend after that, who he's at New Japan Los Angeles, which is cool, which means technically I'll have wrestled a New Japan guy, an Impact guy, and a Ring of Honor guy within like 3 months, which is super cool. And then there's some other stuff that I can't say yet because it hasn't been announced. But yeah, I'm definitely booked throughout the year.
Okay, that's cool. So you ready for the holidays, man? You take off time for that?
I mean, I just wrestle right now. I don't really have a full-time job.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know if you
Yeah.
just you were like, I'm gonna stick around at home for the holidays, man. You know, I get wrestling a break. I'm gonna eat and binge, binge eat.
Yeah, I think for Thanksgiving I'll just do something with uh my family here, and then for Christmas I'm gonna drive up to Colorado because that's where my son lives with his mom, and spend Christmas up there with them.
Oh, that's cool. So how's your
Yeah.
son feel about you wrestling, man? Does he know about you wrestling? And is he like, yo, pop me tearing it up, man? Or does he get a little
He's
scared, it's like, what are you doing with that barbed wire, man? Like, yo.
he's 5, so he doesn't really understand. He's actually he's been to one of my matches live, but he was like 1
Okay.
or 2. Um and then he used to go to training with me when he was like 2 or 3. But since then, the only time he's seen me is the last time I was up there. I was watching one of my matches back on my phone, and he was watching it with me, and he sat there and watched the whole thing, and he was like, "That's so cool." I was like, "Yeah," but yeah, I mean, he's 5. He doesn't really grasp it yet. So
That's cool. But hey, look, in a couple of years or whatever, he's gonna be over there telling his friends, what I mean? Yo, my pop's a wrestler, what I mean? He come in here tear everybody up, Yeah, like, yeah,
yeah,
look at
yeah.
this. And I'm like, woo. I know I would, 'cause if
As,
my dad was, I'd be out on the playground saying that, like, yo, dad's a wrestler.
man, as long as he's proud of what I'm doing, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I gotta ask, man, your name's Aaron, man. After that Key and Peele episode with the substitute, man, did everybody, start messing with you, man? How long did that last? I gotta ask. And does it still happen to this day?
Um,
Do they still go, hey, Ron?
well, I mean, I kind of do that myself. So if other people do it, it's not gonna bother me. Uh, Key and Peele is amazing, so
Oh yeah.
I love that episode.
Oh yeah. He's like, be nice. I mean, Denise,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
He's like, oh yes, that whole thing.
Balake. You mean Blake? Blake.
Yeah. He said go to Oshak Hennessy. Like Principal O'Shaughnessy? Like, shut up and get down there. Like, oh
Yeah,
man, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, Key and
Love
Peele.
Key and
Oh yeah,
Peele.
they're great. They're great. Oh man. So going back, man, do you remember your very first wrestling match? And if so, is it available, to see, or have you, has that been locked in a vault somewhere, underground, nobody to see, or something like that?
Like my first match personally.
Yeah, your very first match, you're like done training out there, bam. Because I know a lot of people, they're like, yeah, you can't see that match, I made sure that was destroyed. Some people were like, oh yeah, it's right there.
My first match was a 5-on-5 elimination match, between the school I was at the time and another school in Dallas. And uh, I was in there for a couple minutes. I did a couple of European uppercuts. I eliminated one person, and then I got rolled up. That was it.
Okay, so that wasn't too
Uh,
bad.
as yeah, as far as if you can see it, I have no idea. The company that it was for might have it on Amazon Prime. Um, don't remember what the show was called. I just know it was in 2000, either 17 or 18, maybe 18. Uh, but the footage of me could literally fit in a Twitter video. So,
That's cool.
yeah.
So man, yeah, playing basketball, man. Is anybody in the back, chatting, been like, man, you were playing ABA and stuff. They ever challenge you to a game, be like, man, after the show, maybe man, let's meet up one day and ball, man.
So there's actually a few people that I talked to about basketball backstage. Some people have actually also played, um, and there's a few of us that want to set something up in Dallas when Mania weekend is here. We want to set up like a tournament. Me and this dude Campbell Myers, who's from Kansas, and this other dude J Rose are trying to get something set up. to where just a bunch of wrestlers who used to play basketball or claim they used to play basketball can kind of get together and hash it out or whatever. But yeah, so sometimes people will give me crap for it, or I don't know.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine, Novel Weatherspoon. He made it to he played college for it was Oklahoma or whatever. He made it to the final the championship game. Was it Oklahoma, I
Wow.
think? And yeah, he made it to the final championship game in the the NCAA tournament, and he played pro overseas. And yeah, I talked to him and stuff, man. He moved back around here, and yeah, I talked to him, and he's like, yeah, he's always be somebody. It's like a coach didn't give me a chance, or if it wasn't for this knee, I would have went pro, and da da da. And I'm like, yo, man, if I ever play a game or something, can I get up with you and you and I play against them? He's like, oh yeah, yeah. I love nothing better to do than play some dudes like that think they could have gone pro, and then it's like. I went pro overseas, I didn't make the NBA, but let's see how you do against me and just dominate. Like, yeah.
Nah, there's levels to that. Like, there's dudes overseas that you would think would be in the NBA just because they're that good, but there's levels to it for sure. And I'm not even on that level. Like,
Yeah.
no way.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's great. Yeah, it's great, man. I haven't been able to, man, but yeah, I kind of want to, man. Get some friends over there, and he just dominates. I just sit there, point where we're like, yeah, vroom, and he's just dunking on people and stuff. That's how we do
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh man. So I do gotta ask, before I, pass it on back to Remy, are there any, funny, road stories, backstage stories that happened to you? Like maybe somebody forgot their gear and they had to Frankenstein something, run out to the ring, maybe you almost hit a Bigfoot, down in some crazy place in Texas.
Man, most of the stuff I cannot talk about. Not that it's just bad, but it's needs to stay with those people. I don't know. You talk about forgetting gear though. The show I did for ICW, on the second night, I forgot my gear and had to wear somebody else's jeans that were probably a few sizes too small, and basically just wore my kick pads and knee pads over the jeans. I don't know. As far as funny road stories, I don't know.
That's fair. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, man. When I go ref, I double up because I've heard stories of people, like their pants might rip for somehow, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm wearing black sweatpants underneath, my pants, so just in case, I'm not mooning anybody. What I mean, I want somebody like, hey, look, he's got heart-shaped underwear and stuff on, stuff like that. And there I am, like, ah, what I mean, I got to go back out and do this again. If somebody got needle and thread, so.
That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah, so I figured I was like, look, I'm gonna do that, because I've done this for a while. I've heard a story. I'm like, oh, let me try that. Let me do that. But yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, forgetting gear. Oh man, yeah, that's gotta be like hitting your stomach. Like, oh man, darn it.
That seems to be like a professional wrestler's worst nightmare, is like forgetting gear or trying to get your gear on as your music is hitting, something like that. Yeah, it's a bad time.
Yeah, we had somebody on here tell us one time they got to the show and they were defending a belt and they forgot their belt and they had to go all the way back home to go get the belt back. It was like a 2-hour drive back home and to the thing. It was like, whoo, man, like wow.
Yikes.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, that I would have been like, oh my lord, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would have just left.
But anyway,
honestly.
Yeah, be like, yeah, well, I guess it's not entitled today.
Yeah.
You can strip me of it next show, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, man. Before we pass it on back to Remy, I do want to say, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, coming on chat with us. I definitely had a blast chatting with you. I wish you luck on Saturday, man. Hopefully you start getting some gold and start traveling around all around the U.S. Kicking butt, taking gold, and all that good stuff.
Before you pass it on, what did you think about that Spider-Man trailer?
Oh yes, it was pretty good. I like that. I like how they showed they're making fun of Doc Ock's name. He was like Doc Ock, and they just started bagging on him. He was like, all right.
Maybe they were making fun of his name. It could have been edited to where it looks like it. Maybe they're making fun of somebody else's name. Maybe another Peter Parker. Who knows?
That is true. I did like that. I got to see Jamie Foxx in there, so that was pretty cool. I was like, "Ooh, okay, yeah, that was pretty cool."
He looks dope.
Yeah,
I hope he has like a good amount of screen time for sure.
oh yes. See, the only thing I'm missing is I gotta watch the Eternals. I watched Shang-Chi. I watched it on Disney Plus. That movie was dope. Like, man, if you love karate, kung fu, dragons, yeah, it's one of those movies.
It was kind of like, and I know they took elements from The Last Airbender, so it was kind of like that. But yeah, it was a really good movie.
Yeah, it was like that, Black Panther, and Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't really know too much about in the Marvel universe, but then after I watched those movies, I was like, oh man, these guys are awesome. Like, yeah, like I'm like Wakanda forever after that. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy, like Drax, all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, these guys are dope, man.
I think Killmonger might be probably my favorite villain out of Marvel.
Oh yes,
he was
awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
I remember watching that with my buddy. I was like, yeah, man, that's why. He was like, yeah, you got the Black Panther, whatever. I was like, yep. And we were watching. He's like, man, look, man, he's just rolling in there, pimping, taking the throne and all stuff. He's like, mine now. I was like, oh, yes.
Michael B. Jordan.
I want T'Challa. It's like, yeah, and then T'Challa had to come back and get him. Like, that's right. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I heard they weren't going to bring him back, man, or recat or bringing somebody else in. But I'm like, man, I like T'Challa, man. I think they can still do a little more with it, but I understand what they're doing. You know,
no, I think they're making Shuri the new Black Panther. I think they're gonna kind of like give him a proper tribute, and then she's gonna take over.
So from what I heard, it might be either Shuri or M'Baku, who was the leader of the gorilla tribe. I heard it might be either, and then I heard rumors that it might be they might put Killmonger as the Black Panther. I heard various rumors, but I guess it's just a situation where only time will tell what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, it would be cool if Killmonger took it over. I just want to see more Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, they are opening up the multiverse, you know what I mean, and Spider-Man thing, so he might be able to come in and stuff. I'm like,
absolutely.
Because I think that in the Venom movie, isn't Spider-Man in the post-credits of that Venom movie? I heard. You know, because Tom Hardy thing might come. Like, oh man.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, but yeah, at the end, he's just chilling in a hotel room, and then stuff starts happening, and he gets sucked into the MCU. So.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. Because I watched Loki, and I was watching all that happened. I was like, oh, here we go. That's how it all. This is how it's all going to start. Okay, yeah, this is going to kick off to phase 4 or whatever. You know, the next big.
That's what's interesting. Like, what is the thing that actually starts the multiverse? Is it the Loki thing, or is it the Wanda trying to tap into like another dimension, or is it the Spider-Man Doctor Strange thing? Like, or is it everything at once? I don't know. It's interesting.
And then I'm kind of excited that I want to see Blade, the new Blade coming out. You know, whenever they finish that, I want to see Home Dude that is Blade, because I liked him, and he was in Luke Cage. He was Cottonmouth, I think. He was the actor to play Cottonmouth in the Luke Cage show. Yeah, that dude's real good. I want to see how he does in Blade. Blade was always awesome. I like Blade.
Yeah, it would be cool if Wesley Snipes just had like a small cameo, or maybe he could be a major part of it. Who knows? That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'm watching this show, What We Do in the Shadows, about vampires. It's kind of shot Office style. Like, they're filming these vampires, like, you know, whatever, you know, just living, you know, doing their thing. And they had this conference, the vampire conference, and they had Wesley Snipes on there and stuff. And they're like, he ain't even a vampire. Like, but he played a badass vampire in the movies. He's part of us and stuff. So he's just on there, you know. He's like, oh, okay, you know, just like that. And oh, man, it's great.
That's funny.
Oh man, but yeah, I'm definitely excited. Yeah, that Spider-Man movie, I'm definitely hyped for that, man. What is it, around Christmas time or something?
It's December 17th, and I actually have a no-ring deathmatch show in Brooklyn that day. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna see it opening night, because I might have to see it the next day, because I have to fly to Houston to do another show the next day. So it might have to be the following day, but I would love to see it on opening night.
Brooklyn, as in Brooklyn, New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have like tons of like movie theaters around here. There's one even, depending on how long the show goes, we have a, because I live in Brooklyn right now, and we have a movie theater that's in downtown Brooklyn that is, I think they have like 11, I like to say 11 o'clock showings. So if your show ends before 11, if it ends like around hopefully 10 o'clock and whatnot, you could probably head on over there and see it.
So it's not a matter of finding a movie theater. It's I don't know how bloody I'm gonna be and if I'm gonna still be bleeding. So
Yeah, that's fair enough, man. Yeah, you don't want to like scare everybody, you know what I mean? You're going into
walk in with blood dripping down.
Honestly, it's New York, so we've seen a lot of crazy things before.
That's fair enough.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, you see, everybody's what was it, Pizza Rat? Everybody like Pizza Rat, you know what I mean? So
I've been to New York once, and it's interesting, and they weren't lying when they were saying there's like giant rats just all over the place on the road. It's definitely accurate.
Oh man, yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I'm in the country, man. Yeah, like I'm in Delaware in the country. Yeah, we just got like deer and stuff, man. So that's all I'm used to. I go to New York, see those things. I'm like, oh, that's a giant kangaroo or something, man. I ain't messing with that thing. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I think on Spider-Man, I'm gonna try. I might see it open tonight. I'm gonna try and go see it in IMAX. We got an IMAX theater, like like a half hour, 40 minutes away. I'm gonna try and do that. If not, I'll do the next day or whatever. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go try and see it. Oh, yeah, I'm so excited.
It'd be cool to see a movie like that with a theater full of people, you know.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I haven't been to. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to a theater. Yeah, gosh. Yeah, I remember going to see like Winter Soldier in 3D and stuff, and just like everybody's like. Yeah. So yeah, I need to do that, man. I'm gonna try and do that. Yeah, see Spider-Man. Plus, man, Spider-Man is pretty awesome. These movies have always been good, all of them. So
absolutely. Which one is your favorite?
Man, that last one, Far From Home, the one with Jake Gyllenhaal, man, that was good, man. Where they, at the end, it was like, oh, he straight suckered everybody. They like played him, like at the end. I was like, ooh, that was a good one.
But do you like Tom Holland the best, or Toby, or Andrew, or?
Oh man, yeah, I like Tom Holland. The one we got now is the best, man. Yeah, I guess probably because he's the one we got right now, but yeah, he's good. Garfield, he'd be the third one. Then it'd be Toby. Toby'd be two.
See, I don't know. I like Andrew the best. I could watch.
You do?
Yeah, I could watch those like every day and not get tired of them. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I like those the best for sure.
I remember seeing the second one with Andrew Garfield in the theaters, and when Jamie Foxx come out, and I remember the whole theater. I thought the speakers were gonna blow. It was like,
hell yeah,
man. Okay, but yeah. Oh man, I can't wait to see this one. I'm hoping, we really do get to see the other two Spider-Man, and I hope they get the old school Spider-Man from the TV shows. I've heard they're like, no, he didn't get contacted, but I hope it's just a thing where they're like, yeah, and he comes in or something.
Yeah, I don't know if enough people would get that reference, so they might just stick to the three.
Yeah, there you go. Be kind of like a Wonder Woman, where she had the old school Wonder Woman come in, in her movie or whatever. That was pretty cool. I like that one.
That was cool.
Now I did hear the Flash one, real quick. The Flash coming out. They're doing a multiverse too, but I heard he's going to be going through the multiverse with Batman, Michael Keaton Batman. I was like, oh man, see, that's my Batman, man. Because when I was a kid, I had those Batman shoes. I was born in 82 and 89. That was right in my wheelhouse, man. I remember my grandma took me to the theaters to see it. Oh man, that's my guy.
I heard something. I'm not sure if it's true, but I heard he signed on for like 2 or 3 movies.
Ooh.
Michael Keaton.
Oh man, that'd be pretty good, man. I liked him.
Yeah,
I liked him as Batman. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I just want to know how they're going to replace Batfleck, man. You know what I mean? But hey.
Easily with the multiverse.
There you go. Yeah, you got another one. Yeah. So before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to say thank you for taking time out of your day, coming on, chatting with us, man. I had a blast. I hope you had good luck on your show this weekend, and Yeah, man. Yeah, I hope you get to travel around winning the gold, beating up everybody, all over the country, man. Hopefully you get around my neck of the woods and I can see one of your matches, man. I'd rap if it's not death match. If not death match, I'll rap. You know what I mean? But this death match, I'll just watch on the monitor in the back.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Aaron, thank you. We really and truly appreciate you giving us the opportunity to have you on our show to tell your story and whatnot regarding your career and so on. And I wish you all the best in your match with Prince Adam. I hope y'all, knock the roof off the building and all that. And whenever you're in Brooklyn, hopefully I get to see you live because I'm in Brooklyn too. So I have yet to check out some independent promotions now that I'm back here. So hopefully everything works out. I get to see you in action, doing your thing and whatnot. But before we shut down the show, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out when your next appearance is? When they want to purchase Aaron Mercer merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
On Twitter and Instagram, it is at Real Aaron Mercer. Pretty easy.
Awesome. So if you're a deathmatch fan or you love Texas wrestling, or if you're just a wrestling fan, give this man a follow. Check out what he's doing. He's doing it big. The man's hella impressive. The man did a whole match with no mats on the ring. It was like a hard floor match. That's some impressive stuff. That's a lot of guts. I can't even do that. Maybe Rob could, but that's not me. So definitely give this man a follow. Check him out. And as I always say, support indie wrestling. That's where 95% of your AEW and WWE and Impact Wrestling superstars come from. But with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. But before I do that, Rob, where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, purchase Rob-based merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to hire you for your refereeing services?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, Rob_base82, and then Facebook, YouTube, Rob Base.
Great. And if you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say, but who knows, maybe you'll get lucky one of these days. You can find me on Twitter under @TheRemyBlue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. Our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram under @Ringside Society. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group as Ringside Society. We're also on Twitch under @Ringside Society 2019, and we're also on Spotify and also YouTube. Once you go to YouTube, type in Ringside Society, you'll see that sweet, oh my gosh, dark blue and light blue yin and yang sign with the blue flames around it. Once you see that, that's us. Subscribe to us. Don't personalize it. Make sure it's to all the videos because you won't want to miss all the cool videos and interviews that we have coming up real soon. And while you're at it, while you're on our YouTube channel, check out all our past interviews, like our recent interview with Aaron's upcoming opponent, Prince Adam. We actually have that interview as well. We also have Prince Adam's girlfriend. Well, no, that's on Block Talk. Sorry, my bad. We also have Jasmine Allure, Antonio San Francisco. We also have Maddie Rinkowski, many other greats from Texas, many greats all over the country on our show. So definitely check out what we got going on. And speaking of the Vert Vixen interview, we're also on Blog Talk. We're still on Blog Talk. We haven't left them yet. They say breaking up is hard to do. So I guess that's why we're still with them. But definitely check out our Blog Talk because we have a lot of interviews with other people, with other wrestlers like Vert Vixen, AQA, Mysterious Q, and many others. So yeah. And we also have a Teespring store, yes, where we sell our where we sell our official Ringside Society merchandise. We have long sleeve shirts, regular shirts, tank tops for the summer. We have hoodies, and we also have coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage. So definitely check us out, cop some merch. All proceeds from those sales go back into keeping this show afloat. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight live. We really and truly appreciate it. It means a lot to us. To those of you that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very much in advance. And for those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself at the Golden Corral and Rob Bass at the Taco Festival, we ain't going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. So with that being said, we just want to everybody know that we here at Ringside Society are very one of everybody and their grandparents and their parents of a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. Hey, yo, Rob Bass, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, the Sean Spencer to my Burton Guster, and the Bubba Ray to my Devon Dudley. One time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, one time for Lucha Brutal. Make it double, airing this Saturday, November 20th. And one time for the Throwback Aaron Mercer.
Woo!
What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. And we'll be back in a couple of hours with another episode of 50 Minutes of Fandom, where we also interview our fellow wrestling fans. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.